Welcome to Freelance Sucks. Here we discuss the dark side of freelancing about which nobody usually talks out loud. In this show, we speak with experienced freelancers, and I'm sure listening to their stories helps you prepare for freelancer challenges. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Daisy Hilbrands, a freelance certified transformative coach who creates a safe and supportive space for teams and individuals to explore their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and who chose to be location independent. So, welcome, Daisy.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with the easiest question. For you, what is the most challenging part of being a freelancer?
That is, for me, is the lack of peers. I come from a background in corporate life, so been used to having peers I could chit chat with, change ideas. Just when something was on my mind, I could turn around in my chair and say, "Hey, I can't fix this one. Can we do a ping pong?" That you don't have as a freelancer. So that was, and still is to a certain degree, the most challenging for me regarding being a freelancer.
How did you feel exactly the moment you changed your corporate journey into freelancing? How did you deal with this at that moment?
Oh, at that moment, I was lost. When I did the change, I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? What I found out over the time was to find my community. So find a new community where I felt I could have these peers. And I started in the beginning, I think half a year after I started as a freelancer, I tried to build a community myself to have this. Didn't succeed very much. I'm not a community builder. But it makes me realize that, hey, I need to find my community out there.
How did you find your community?
In fact, it's through Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups. So really find group where there is a shared interest, and also where there is. So I'm both part of what you say freelancer groups, but I'm also part of groups within my profession. So where not everybody is freelancers. So to get both part of it.
What do you get the most out of those groups?
It is this feeling of if I'm struggling with something, I have somewhere to turn to with my questions. So really getting the feedback on ideas or worries also sometimes, and also sometimes just hear how it is for others. So, for example, if you are experience a drop in your bookings, suddenly having a community where you can ask, hey, am I the only one who sees these drop in my bookings, or is it also something else the rest of you are seeing?
Totally. It feels like you are talking to the same people out of your circle, and you can get what the hell is going on. Like, it's not me, it's them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, except for work itself, professional, what you are doing professional as a freelancer, what is the most time consuming thing you must deal with?
Social media. Ella, what do you say? Marketing in the way of being visible. Also, as I do work as a coach, it means that what I do is time limit. So at some point, the coaching relationship will end. So I don't have like what you say a regular clients I will have over years. One of the things I was one of my teacher said when I took the coach training, if you keep on having the same client, then you are a bad coach, because the whole point in coaching people is they can move on and they obtain their goals. So that is the most so being visible and finding my clients, and also being visible in a way that feels true to me. And that took me quite some time of finding out, okay, how do I make sure I'm there to find and people know about me, but also in a way that it does feel true to me. I'm not the type who's very good in saying, hey, I'm doing this, book me and pay me. It doesn't work for me. And that was a struggle, and it is still to a certain degree a struggle of finding the right way. So for me, what I have found out works for me. I like to help people. So that can be by, when it comes to being visible, sharing different methods people can try out, giving point of view on different tools and things like that. And believe if I speak to the person, they will contact me to learn more.
Do you have some kind of social media marketing strategy, like posting 2 times a week or having some content plan and stuff? Like how does this thing work for you?
No, I don't. And it's you're right now. You're talking to my bad conscience because I should have. I am aware. I will say for me, it's working very much of finding people I find interesting and find who have something to share where I also learn from them, but also to engage with what, for example, if they are sharing something interesting on a LinkedIn post, then also saying my point of view regarding this. So also showing myself in that way.
No, it's interesting, but it's also social media marketing strategy, because some people think that if I'm not posting, that I'm not doing it. But exactly what you're told, that if you are checking other people's posts and you're adding meaningful comments into them, and then you have conversations, that is also one of the ways. First of all, the person who are you commenting, under whose post you are commenting, will notice you, and then you have a conversation. But all other people who are also checking, following this person, they will also see this. So I would say that you're already doing a great marketing strategy.
Yes. So yeah, and like I said, it is for me that works because I feel I add value, and for me it is a value of mine to have the feeling that I'm adding value and not just noise.
And what is the most nerve-wracking thing you must deal with as a freelancer?
Oh, I'm what do you say? I'm not very good in what do you say? I'm good in what do you say, doing the coffee chats and things like that. But for example, at Meetup, I'm the type who stands a little bit in the corner and thinking, what am I doing here? Oh, all those interesting people, I want to talk to them, but what do I say? I really don't feel. I feel it's a funny double-sided things. I feel very comfortable and confident when I do a workshop and things like that, where I know my materials, I know how this works, I know what my goal is to be there. But when it comes to this more chit-chatting, let's connect things, I'm getting very awkward.
Why do you think it happens?
It is to a certain degree. I am an introvert, so it is this one of like you said, one I read at some point, and I do agree on it. If you find the subject an introvert is passionate about, they will be the most talkative in the room.
Yeah.
And that is very true. Then I am very talkative. But in this one of what you say, a little bit of feeling into the conversation and finding the right common space to have the conversation in, I overthink it. So I get awkward in my head, and then I get awkward in my person.
Got it. Got it. And as a freelancer, do you ever feel professional loneliness?
Of course I do, yes. And also this feeling of what you say, and I also think one of the reason is I am coming from a corporate life, so I have been used to a very different type of work life, and this one also just to have regularly, what do you say, non-important check-in with co-workers. So feeling you are part of something. that feeling can be very hard to get as a freelancer.
You were talking a little bit about communities, and you were telling that you are learning from them and understanding that you are not alone. I mean, in professional way, but how do communities help you to deal with small check-ins?
Yeah, and that can be the hard part about communities, because it really depends on the community if there's also space to these small check-ins. I mostly get what you would say, the small check-ins, those I get from friends and family.
Got it. Got it. If your friend wanted to become a freelancer, what are top 3 things you'd advise them to consider before doing it?
One of the first thing I definitely would ask them to look in, that is what I call, what is your financial mindset? Freelancing is not a regular income, and you have to feel comfortable with it. So that is definitely one of the first thing I will ask them to look into. How would you feel about not having a regular income? Is it something you do feel comfortable about? And also, what are your safety nets, so to speak? So make sure you do have a certain degree of a safety net when you go into freelancing. The other thing I will say is find someone in your field that is longer ahead than you. And ask them for a coffee chat. Ask them to, hey, can I pick your brain? What should I be aware of? Where is the pitfalls in this industry? So learn from people who is already there. And the last one is, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. So launch your website, launch your offer before you feel it's perfect, because otherwise you will just be in this funny phase of, I'm not ready, but I want to do it. So learn to accept that things can't be perfect.
I feel like perfectionism is one of the main blockers for freelancer, and it's fun. I was having conversations with freelancers who started their side businesses and now they're business owners during the COVID, and I asked like, why during the COVID? And then like, I was busy before the COVID, but when the COVID hit, I suddenly got time. And I just decided to do something that I was always thinking of, oh, it's not perfect. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I can't, I need more time. And then they just started doing it, and they just build their amazing businesses. So yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. And I wish to have the sky as a limit, but time is the limit to our conversation. So the final question, if you were starting freelancing today, what is one thing you would have done differently?
Yeah, that's interesting, because I was a little bit, it was not the plan to be a freelancer when I became a freelancer, so there was not that much thought behind it. And until I became a freelancer, I have never thought about being a freelancer. So I was not the type who had this plan or idea for ages. So what would I have done differently? I really can't think of a single thing, because it was really not planned. So it was a little bit going with the flow. And I can't imagine with that point where I was in my life when I became a freelancer, I can't imagine I could have imagined that beforehand. So it is, yeah, I think what I will say is this one of, because that was a blow for me, this one of coming from corporate life with a stable income to being a freelancer with an unstable income. That did take, I will say, 1.5 years of my beginning of being a freelancer, of being comfortable with that. So for me, knowing more about how I felt about my financial mindset would have made it easier for me.
Yeah, totally. And Daisy, thank you so much for sharing your experience and for having such an open conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button or 5 stars and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.